let's introduce Mr. Sunil Bohra. He's the ED and CFO of the company who joins us now on the show. Mr. Bohra, good morning. A happy early Diwali to you from all of us right here on ET now. Congratulations, because it's been a strong top line and bottom line for you. However, margins have been a bit flattish. Would you attribute it to the commodity price fluctuation, and also what's the content per vehicle at the end of the second quarter?
Yeah, hi. Thank you for this call. As you rightly said, the margin have been flattish, but if you see our little bit history, our margins a couple of years back have been around 10%, and last year it was 11%, and this year our guidance has been broadly between 12 to 12.5%, and we are happy to say that our margin actually we have been able to maintain at the upper end of the range which we have given at 12.4%. And our full year guidance was around 12.5, and that is our guidance or expectations for this year. And we are happy that we have actually delivered on those guidance.
Okay, so basically your margin is in the guidance range. What about commodity price fluctuation? Are you, seeing any problems on account of that?
I will not say problem. Yes, these are part and parcel of the business. There are ups and downs. There are some pressures in terms of higher commodity prices and also higher rupee vis-a-vis dollar. But what we have been doing is we have been acting very fast in terms of not only controlling our cost, but also making sure that we make our processes more efficient. Also, there is an advantage because of the volume growth. The higher scale does bring economies, and both these accounts have actually helped maintain our margin.
Okay, and I'm going to come to that as well now, talking about volumes. How are you reading into the demand from OEMs, especially the ones overseas? Because given how consumer demand, I think, is witnessing a bit of a slowdown, are you seeing any sort of rollbacks, in perhaps your order inflows or anything like that? Or are you okay with how things are currently?
Yeah. So while we do have our annual volume estimates from all the OEMs, and the volume estimate does keep on changing on month-on-month basis, going forward in quarter 3 and quarter 4, there are some ups, there are some downs, so it's a mixed bag. However, we are confident to continue our performance in terms of delivering the numbers in line with the first 2 quarters and the kind of growth we have seen in first 2 quarters. We are confident that we will be able to maintain that growth in the coming quarters as well.
That's good to hear. So growth as well will be as per guidance, margins as well as per guidance. You earlier mentioned about the weakening rupee versus the dollar, and yeah, it's not good for your costs, but it would be something that would give you a competitive edge, especially in exports. So that's what I'm going to talk to you about. How is the exports business shaping up? Has there been any increase in contribution from exports versus domestic? And yes, has the rupee depreciation helped you in any way?
Yeah, it actually does help in terms of exports, but at the same time, as you know, that we also have a lot of imports. What we are trying to do is that we are trying to localize the imports and see that we are not impacted to that account from the rupee depreciation. Recently, we have started our own company called Minda Catalog, where we manufacture the SMPs, and the way what we are doing is we are trying to localize more and more and doing backward integration so that the rupee depreciation or the fluctuation currency does not hit that strongly. And that is the key reason, if you see, we have been able to maintain our margins as well.
Okay, there are lots of domestic tailwinds as well. We are talking about enhanced safety norms, we are talking about BS6. In light of that, what kind of potential are you seeing for growth? And do you have any targets for, say, 2020 in terms of sales or content per vehicle?
So while I'm sure you know about that, we recently acquired around 48% stake in TG Minda. TG Minda has around 1/5 of country's stake in airbags, which is going to get mandatory from next year onwards. So there is the first leg of growth, as you rightly said, in terms of regulatory changes when airbags, passenger and front airbags becomes mandatory from next year onward. So there in TG we do expect a good growth in next year, but it's a joint venture and associate, so it may not directly see a growth in our top line, but the profits will get consolidated to the bottom line.
Okay, understood. Let's also talk about the fact that you're diversifying your product offerings. There are 2 key products. One is alloy wheels, and the other one is airbags. I think both of them still have a very high scope of penetration. So what's the growth you're looking at here?
Yeah, absolutely. So coming to first airbags, the market today, if you see, you may divide into two sort of categories. One is the higher end cars and another is the lower end car. The higher end cars, the penetration is actually at a very high level, because if you see the higher end C and D category cars, almost every car will have an front airbag. Whereas when you go to the lower end models, they are not there in the base model. So there the growth will be significantly higher. In terms of alloy wheels, the market is moving towards more premiumization. Alloy wheel demand is growing, and as you would have also observed that we have recently announced setting up of a new two-wheel alloy plant in Maharashtra. Today, if you see roughly India, the consumption of two-wheel alloy wheel is, or demand total is 34 million wheels a year, of which as a country we manufacture roughly 14 million, and 20 million alloy wheels are getting imported. So there is a huge potential in terms of localization, and all the OEMs today, in line with Make in India concept, everybody wants to manufacture more and more in India, and that is why this decision we have taken in terms of setting up the two-wheel alloy plant in the country. We are quite confident that the future demand in terms of alloy wheels, both in two-wheel category and four-wheel category, will continue to grow, and there will be a lot of premiumization happening in this industry.
Great to hear that, Mr. Bohra. On that note, we'd like to thank you for joining in on ET Now. Once again, congrats on the numbers as well as festive season greetings from all of us right here on ET Now.